Hey, everybody. Welcome to Contractor's Corner. I'm Jeff. Today is the 7th of March, I think. I'm having to look at my little thing. So, this is a little different. We had an incident last week, so Charlie is in timeout for the time being. I might decide to bring him in if he can be nice to people, you know, a little bit here. But it looks like we have Craig Hutchinson as the first guy in at 2:10 p.m. today. That's impressive, Craig. We got a whole bunch of stuff from Charlie just being Charlie there. Got Jonah Green. Good evening. Dennis Lewis, of course. Dennis is having a time right now with his maintenance on his truck. We got another Charlie Meehan here. Ooh, is he trying to squeeze in here or what? We got Brian Jess listening live today. Dennis Lewis again. And Matt Neeson is playing reindeer games, peekaboo. I don't know if you guys have ever met Matt, but he stalked me one time in New Jersey, and I saw him coming, and he did recognize my truck. And when I recognized that he recognized my truck, I felt like closing my curtains. He's a big guy. He's also really nice. You should give him a hug if you get a chance. He's a big guy. So we got Trucker Dan out there, Life on 18 Wheels. Hey, how you doing? We got Barb. Hello, Barb. Um, Mark Fisher. Mark Fisher's on there. Mark's a hell of a guy, by the way. Mark doesn't know that I know him as well as I do, but I do. I remember him more than he remembers me. So we're gonna do a thing here. I'm gonna let Charlie in. Charlie, are you ready to be nice? You need to shake your head because nobody can hear. I can't hear you because you're down there in timeout. Are you gonna be nice today, Charlie?
It's possible.
Yes, Charlie has some new decorations there.
They're watching my back.
Those who know.
Just gonna not even say anything. Just they're there. Just know that they're there. Hey, everybody.
Code
Oh, look.
Mark is up there. There he is.
Speaking of, look at Rosie. Be nice. Don't start with me, woman. You're not even here to stop me. You can't even unplug
the reason I could get away with this, Charlie's actually a couple years older than me, not that much, but I've got more kids. So I have more experience, which makes me the daddy.
I'm not sure if I'm comfortable.
Only fans. Anyway.
I'm not sure if this is good.
Rosie's picking up on some stuff. Got Alan Becker in the house. Alan's going to be doing our maintenance clinic during the conference in Vegas.
Right.
Only about 3 weeks away, guys.
He's got like a whole stack of brake tools and stuff that he's put together. He's going to show everybody how to use them and do stuff with them. And then he's going to give away the entire package at the end of our little deal in a little like raffle. And I'm told it's about $300 worth of tool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, hell. Whatever, Narc. You're lucky I don't ban people.
I appreciate that.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, hope everyone's doing well. You know, good to see everybody. Glad you're all here hanging out and all that good stuff. Yeah, look, Ken Kelly, you guys are all teenagers as far as I'm concerned. We love
I'm good
you,
with
Pappy.
that. I'm good with that.
All right, I'll take it. Hey, let's do this fuel surcharge thing.
All right.
Before I start saying bad things about anyone and, you know, pissing off the world somehow or whatever, I mean, big old angry faces all over the interwebs. You know what? We're going to let Jeff do it. You know what? He's running the show today. Jeff is doing it. Jeff is running the show, y'all. So here's Jeff with this week's fuel surcharge report. Y'all, watch this happen. Wait, you got to make that comment go away.
No, I don't. I don't have to do anything if I'm in charge, right?
Here we go. Y'all watch this.
We're all stepping over each other.
It'd be great. Wrong button.
Oh, we are doing this. Okay, so
Lean
natural
the other way,
diesel
man.
fuel cost. What?
Get
Oh,
your face out. There you go. Good God, man.
I'm not used to this. Camera's moving weird. It's all backwards and stuff. All right, natural diesel fuel cost average went down by 0.012 for an average of $4.28.2. West Coast Pad 5 diesel average went down by 0.038 for the cost average of $4.89.5. So that makes our fuel surcharge for the OTR fleet 50.3 cents this week. That's down by 0.002. Not too bad of a down. We know that it's things are going on and things, so it is on a slight decline down. Not too fast though. We've seen it go a lot faster. West Coast fuel surcharge, which will show up on your settlements as the West Coast fuel rebate if you pick up a load in those states, is down to 9 cents. So it also went down 0.002. Did I do good, Charlie? Do I
No,
have to talk
West Coast
more?
fuel surcharge went down 1 cent. Just saying.
Oh, the average went down.
Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna learn you yet, sir. We're gonna
Hey,
get
man,
this stuff hashed out.
This is not my segment, man.
I know this is fun.
Not,
That's I like it. We're out of our comfort.
a little
Okay,
bit.
we'll go back to this. Pow! And here we are. So yeah, what's going on? Anyone wants to call in? The number's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. 813 live SEC. And for those of you who don't know how to push those buttons, it's 813-548-3722. Did I just offend the trophy people again? Probably.
I don't know. I mean,
do they know that the old phones had numbers and letters?
well, my smartphone has numbers and letters on it.
The same. I mean, I could see someone typing out the words on their keypad, trying to dial that. That might be fun.
I wonder if that would translate. I wonder if that would actually translate.
Huh. Maybe that's like a thing.
Technology.
We're too old to even know about it.
Technology that we don't know about.
Is that possible? I guess that's possible. So, yeah.
Matt's threatened to come and give you a spanking because you were bad.
Oh, man, I'm going to hug that dude. It's all good. Piss off the world. Hell, that's my idea of a good time. That's what King Kelly said. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we had some unfortunate things happen recently, and we actually wanted to talk about it. Not naming names, but we had a post come up in the group this week. In fact, it popped up today. We lost a contractor due to some unfortunate things happening. The backstory is he was in his big truck doing his work and doing his thing and got ran by another big truck. Right. It led to some medical issues and some downtime and all that sort of stuff, which is a bummer. Unfortunately, going through the old claims process and all that sort of stuff, it led to him being extremely behind on truck payments and that sort of thing. And there were some other comments about, maybe you should have done this, maybe you should have done that, whatever. Our point is the process in claims is kind of what did him in here, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I just don't know a better way to say it. It just is what it is. He got hung up, and I can tell you from my past experience in a similar. I was actually in our big truck, got rear-ended. I was in Oklahoma City. This was years back when I was still a mentor. And, I lost work time and, revenue and things like that. Was in the hospital, rode to the hospital in an ambulance, thought I had, broken my back. Ended up spraining my neck, my shoulder, and my ankle. And when I went through the claims process, it was a whole nightmare of a thing. Like, there was no damage to my truck. So now I'm trying to go through the OCAC stuff. And that was just like a whole deal. And they wouldn't fight for me. And they wanted all this crazy information that had nothing to do with the current situation. They wanted my entire life's medical records, which I refused to give them because nothing before this accident was any of their business. And so I ended up having to get my own lawyer and had to go after this company. And, unfortunately, because I was out of state, and trying to deal with all that, I barely got, my medical bills covered. which was a shame. And I mean, a great deal of it could have been covered by the VA. They probably would have covered it, but why am I going to stick it to the VA for something that somebody did in a big truck, right? So that wasn't something the VA should have had to pay for. But this individual in our group today, got real behind on his truck payments and that sort of thing, and it's all kind of hung up on the claims process. And in the past, from what we've seen, they're not going to go after his downtime, and they're not going to try to recover his lost wages and the payments out to the truck. And not to toot our horn here, but other insurance is the answer to this problem. Jeff just is still going through a claim process with Swift's insurance folks, and it's still not settled and paid. And what are we? A week, 2 weeks?
2 weeks now. I would just be happy if I could get hold of someone on the phone.
Right.
I have a claim adjuster. I have a phone number. I have an email. 2 days I've been trying to call him. Last 2 days hasn't called me back. So I ended up calling the main hotline, right, for claims. Guess who answers the phone?
The guy he's been trying to get
I've been trying to get a hold of. So he can answer the phone, but he's not going to return my phone call when I have a claim number. Yeah. I mean, literally, we've talked about this before. Charley and I, in the past, have both looked at outside insurance. And in the past, it didn't pencil out. It was just way more expensive to go outside. That's no longer the case.
I mean, even back in the day, we looked at OIDA insurance back in the day, and there was a war between OIDA and Swift, and you could not use OIDA insurance.
Right.
And that would have been the only comparable insurance coverage at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So that has changed. I don't know what's changed in the insurance world. The last time I seriously looked at was about 5 years ago. Aside from last year when I was thinking about getting my own authority, but things I was looking at on a lease truck, another $300-400 a month.
Right.
That's a big chunk of change, So I never went and pursued it further, and now the Seabright insurance that we worked on, it's right on par with Swift, with better coverage.
Price-wise, yeah.
Price-wise, it's right on par with Swift. Other guys with other companies, and they're paying maybe another $40-50. You got OIDA that's less. So something's changed in the industry. I don't know what it is. I'm not an insurance guy. All I could tell you is that our past experience is it didn't pencil out. Now it does. So it's a lot easier right now to, put those big boy pants on and start looking. We were prodded to do this by the camera thing, but it's one of those things, we made lemonade out of those lemons. No, we didn't want the camera, so we started looking and we found some stuff out. And sometimes, Charley, that's what it takes, right?
Right.
Something happens and you're like, well, I haven't focused on that part of my business in 5 years. Let's look at that. So the thing with Seabright too is I have a guy.
Right.
If I have an accident in the middle of the night, I call that guy, and if he doesn't answer the phone, y'all should also be able to get a hold of Tony directly. That dude doesn't sleep.
And their system is set up so that if your guy doesn't answer, your guy or gal doesn't answer, it rolls over to Tony, the owner of the company.
Yep. So like I said last week, we asked Tony what would the difference be in Jeff's claim, my claim, if I had already been a client of Seabright. And he said, oh, we would have already paid the claim off, and if we had to, we'd overnight the parts to the dealership at no cost to yourself, because we're going to get that from the towing company that damaged your truck. And you'd be on your way. Let us do the battle. That's the way they do it. Swift, the first question the claims adjuster at Swift asked me, Charley, today, when I finally got a hold of him, well, did you try and get the tow truck company to pay for the repair? I'm like, no, that's what I pay you guys for.
Right.
I'm not going to get in an argument with a guy that's got my truck on a hook.
Right.
He could just as easily. So their tow yard was a mile away from where I broke down. The dealership was 11 miles away. If I started arguing with that guy, what do you want to bet I ended up in impound?
You know,
I mean, come on, man.
and no, Billy, sorry. Right now, mentors, we can't get mentors covered. We tried. It's something that we're going to look into further down the road, but we got to build a history with the current group. So everybody drive good. Not a lot of claims, guys. Right? Let's not have any at fault claims. Get those numbers going the right way, and yeah, then hopefully we'll be able to actually spread it out into you guys that are mentoring folks.
So we got an answer to this question then. Good, because I was wondering about that.
There you go. So he got the Seabright insurance, but it did not cover the blow up doll. Well, wait.
How is that not a medical device?
Well, wait. There is a what's that coverage?
The electronics inside the cab, yeah.
But it's called personal effects. I would think the blow up doll is personal effects.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Otherwise, reach out to me, and I'm willing to write my own private policy, and it's going to be super expensive because I know what kind of damage can happen there. Wait, what? Never mind. My bad. So those of you who kept asking me about my policy and my coverage and how much I'm paying and all that, because there were some people who were convinced that I was getting a discount. And I kept telling you, I'm pretty sure I knew what it was. But because I was the first one to go through the process, I never actually got a formal quote. We talked about it on the phone, and I got a little lost in it and went, okay, I know I've got the insurance. I know it's going to be, it was within $9 of what I was paying Swift. And I was like, okay, yes, let's do this because I want to get it done. And it turns out I am paying $4 more per month than I was at Swift for more coverage. That's what it came down to.
Right. So did you get like everything he was offering?
No, I'm actually adding the OCAC next month.
And you're going to do the OCAC supplemental so that your business
with the BOE, the business operating expense stuff coverage, which is in.
So I wanted to bring that up.
130.
I want to bring that up because this individual that we were talking about that lost his business,
right?
That would not have happened with this insurance. If you're fully covered, this is not going to happen. Because between the OCAC and the supplemental, he would have had enough money to pay his bills.
Right.
What was that? That was you.
I don't know.
It was a beep. I don't know.
Nope. No beep here, brother. But yeah, so I mean, these extra coverages that we're kind of promoting, and look, you don't have to get it.
Yeah.
See,
that's the thing. That's the thing about.
Nailed it. I mean, seriously, right there, $4 more a month, peace of mind, priceless.
Yeah, here's the thing about insurance that I like to try and stress is insurance is a game of chance. You're betting that someday you're going to have to use that insurance to cover your butt.
Right.
So you don't lose your business. The insurance company is betting that you never will, and they're going to invest that money in ways that you don't even know about, and they're going to make a killing off of those investments. But, I hope that I never have to use it. Obviously, though, I had a claim last week, 2 weeks ago now. Had nothing to do with me. Some jackass made a mistake and crunched my truck.
Right. The tow truck guy of all people.
So I want to address this one, Charlie. Is it payroll deductible? I was just going
to click on it too.
It is not. And you guys all need to know this. I asked Brett about that. What was it, like 2 months ago? We're working on this deal. Can we do this? And he said no. And he said, as a matter of fact, Swift is getting out of the payroll deduct business completely.
Yeah, they don't want to do any of these payroll deduct things.
So any of you guys that bought their health insurance and it's being payroll deducted, they're looking at not doing payroll deduct for that anymore.
So here's the problem with that process, and we've seen it, is if you have the medical insurance offering to them, whatever the hell it is, and you're negative in a settlement for that week, I dare you to go try and see a doctor that week. I bet you're denied.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had people come back and say, "Oh my God, I was negative this week and they canceled my insurance." Well, that's what they did. It's
Yep.
exactly what they did. You didn't pay them, so Swift didn't pay them, and that's what happened. And it sucks.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we need to take ownership of what it is we're doing, write that check or, set that auto pay up, whatever it is you're going to need to do, and just pay the bill every month. It's, you know, you're going to get billed, they're going to start it, and that's what's going to happen.
And so this is somebody on another YouTube channel. One of those YouTubers out there is going to call me out on this.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say something, Charlie, that you never thought you'd hear me say.
Here we go.
I plan on putting my Seabright insurance on a credit card.
Right?
The reason being is, so mine's going to be a lot less than Charlie's because I don't have to have the comprehensive stuff. But if you have a credit card, most credit cards, whether it's personal or business, you get up there to where they'll let you borrow more money than they should let you borrow. So you got all this buying power.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like this last month, I haven't made much money because of my breakdown and the crunch, right? Well, what about when the first rolled around and my premium is due and I don't have the money in the bank?
Right.
Should I have the money in the bank? Absolutely. But this is one of those few areas where you can insulate yourself a little bit using credit. And as long as you pay that credit card off every month, you're not paying interest on it. It's called freeloading.
Right.
They actually call it that in the credit industry.
Excuse me.
So where the credit card makes their money, just so you know, it's not like you're being a bad guy by doing this. Most credit card transactions have a 3% to 5% transaction fee on them, depending on if it's Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, whatever. So they still make their money, just not as much money because you're managing your money properly and not paying interest. So this is one of the few cases where I would say, yeah, if you can put it on a credit card, that way you can float it if you need to without losing your insurance. I think that's a good way to go about it. What say you, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're paying it off every month, I mean, and then let's say, bad things happen, you couldn't pay it that month. At least you're still covered. And now you have the ability to take a breath, regroup, get back on track, right? Without jeopardizing your business or your coverage, right? Oh, and on this statement here, I should go back. Yeah, there were 4 options on the cameras that, if you're keeping Swift's insurance. And what Billy Jack is saying here is, I understand there are 4, but Swift is only providing 2. And if you want the Netrodyne, you have to go to Phoenix, Memphis, or Greer. And even that is sketchy at best right now, from what I'm hearing. That it's tough to actually get those at those locations. They're supposed to have them on hand. Don't know that that's happening. And so yeah, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, it's legit. And then, Billy followed up. He said, I guess if I can't get the Netrodyne camera, I'm done mentoring and we'll get my own policy. And Billy, I know, I feel you. It just, I'm going to tell you, you're still going to be profitable, man. You're still going to be, I have complete faith. And I know your operation there. So,
we've been over this, Charlie. You know how amazed I was when I quit mentoring. I mentored for 13 years. My whole business was centered around mentoring. And when I started losing my mind, because I'm getting older and you just get tired of it after a while, I actually called Charlie. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't feel like I'm doing these students any good right now. I'm just, I'm burnt out, man. But I don't know if I can make money without students. And of course, Charlie beat me upside the head and said, why are you making money off students? But after that, it's like, well, so what's it going to cost you to not have a student? And I was doing like a lot of you guys, the week teams. I wasn't doing full teams.
Right.
But, it was a couple $100 a week, I thought. And, the impact that it had on my income was negligible. It really was. It was like $150, $200 a week.
Not to mention the peace of mind afterwards. Because look, when I quit mentoring, Rosie was my last student. I had full intention of letting Rosie be off like every other month or every 3 months and take a new student because I truly like teaching. I really did. And I've always done, the super solo thing. And then I had arguments and all that other stuff with the old safety people and decided I wasn't going to do it anymore. But I noticed that my stress level was way further down, way less. I slept a little bit better. I mean, look, Rosie could tell you that if she makes a wrong turn and I'm asleep, I will wake up and be like, "Oh, why'd you make a left?" And she's like, "How the hell do you even know?" I mean, it's that leftover crap, But yeah, I mean, look, it's I understand the revenue side of it is it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's nice when you do it and when you are a good mentor, the money comes with it. It just does. But it's not the end of your world and you will still be profitable. And I think that you may find some perks to not having those new people on the truck simply because you're going to take better care of the truck than they are. You're going to drive the truck better than they do. And you're going to save more money over the long term maintenance, fuel, everything.
Dennis is on fire today.
I know, right? Hey, I don't mind it. I like when she plays teacher.
Yeah, I mean, and
My
anyway,
bad. You
so
did it.
So yeah, so the point is, yeah, my experience was again, my whole business model was around mentoring. I was one of those weird guys that I had other experience in business, sales. I was in the corporate world for a while, and I'd always worked my way into some sort of training position, right? It's kind of just what I did. So I actually came to Swift on purpose. I know this sounds crazy, to learn how to drive a truck, learn the business, mentor, and be an owner operator mentor.
Right.
That's what I came to Swift to do, and that's what I did. Well, 13 years later, I'm getting burned out. So I got to figure out a new business plan. And that's all it is, man. You just got to find a new business plan, a new way to do things. Now, one of the things I figured out was wear and tear on the truck, right?
Right.
The students are harder on trucks, so they're down for maintenance more often because they do stuff. Um, Tires last longer. Good God, tires last longer because there's not that heavy. They're trying to get off the line like a Fast and Furious or something, all that stuff.
So Alan said, so my last student put my truck in an accident and he lost a month of his truck. Yeah, he had a loaner, but still had to cover his weekly on his lease. Swift covered the accident, but still, it's peace of mind, man. I know Alan's getting ready is making that transition out of the mentoring thing. So, it's just crazy, man. I mean, look, by all means, mentor. If that's your thing, go for it, man. Do it for the right reasons, I'm not going to knock you guys for it. I had a conversation with someone at my DC the other day, and it was a tough love conversation, right? And I said, "Hey, man, where are you getting fuel tonight?" And he told me the Loves 153 in Macon. And I said, "Why?" He's like, "Because that's where I'm going to fuel up." He's a contractor. And I said, "But dude, the QT across the highway is $1 cheaper." I exaggerated. It was 47 cents cheaper, and I corrected myself with him later. But it was 47 cents cheaper at the QT. He said, "Wait, we can use the QT?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "They take home data?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." I told him before. I want you to understand this. I had told him before. And I dig this guy. Don't get me wrong. But it was frustrating to me because, you know, granted, he doesn't have the ES Advantage card, but still not shopping fuel and was paying 47 cents more per gallon. And I said, "Well, and then on top of it, I'm like, bro, why didn't you get the ES Advantage card yet? I've been telling you since we got it and blah, 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 and all that." He's like, "Well, I just haven't been able to afford it yet." I'm like, "Well, why not?" And there's some, different life things happen. I get it. I don't fund the card every week. That's for sure. We're pretty open about that, and with that being said, I'm like, well, so it just led me into this crazy, slightly grumpy old man thing. And I'm like, okay, so you're not shopping for fuel. You're not getting the ES Advantage card. I said, you're, and he was upset about having to get the Swift camera. I said, well, then, just quit training and get our insurance or get another insurance, right? He said, well, I can't afford not to train. And that set me off again because I was in one of those modes. And I'm like, why not, man? And just, other things popped up and I'm like, bro, those are excuses. Those are crutches. Those are things you're falling back on. And, and I asked him flat out, I'm like, what are you doing? Are you paying for a job or are you trying to run a business? And he looked me square in the face, said, both. I said, bullshit. I said, you are paying for a job. You drive 70 miles an hour. We do this exact same thing. We ran pretty nearly the same miles last year, yet I was able to do all of it at 60 miles an hour, and he felt the need to do it at 70 with the extra wear and tear and everything else with a student and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm just saying, driving fast is costing him money. He's not shopping for fuel, all these things, and they all add up to where if he corrected some of those things, he would absolutely be funding the fuel card.
Yeah, Charley
and getting an even bigger discount.
Charley and I actually did the math. If he just did those things that Charley was talking about, we're talking like over 10 grand a year in savings.
It was $17,500 when I did the math.
Yeah.
Just in fact, using still using data and shopping for fuel and driving 60 versus 70, it was a $17,500 savings over the course of 12 months.
Yep. That's almost a down payment on a car these days.
Okay. And the QT, when you buy DEF at the QT, is on average about 90 cents cheaper than all of the big five for the same product. So I didn't even calculate that into the equation. I mean, quick rough numbers and I don't know. I know we harp on this speed thing and I've been pushing back and I've had some private conversation with individuals and I've challenged a couple of individuals to actually make a change. And I've got one person that I reached out to and I said, look, this is what I want you to do. I challenge you, slow down. And, their teammate doesn't want to do 60. They like doing 70. I said, okay, are you willing to slow down? And they said, yes. And I said, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to reset your trip meter every day you start your shift. And I want you to send me in a text message your miles and your miles per gallon reported by the truck. Now, granted, we know that's not the best means, but send me those numbers. And then at the end of your shift, text me those numbers and then reset it again and keep track of the difference between you and your partner running 70 versus 60. And, down the road, let's come back at this in a month or so and see what the difference is between your driving and their driving. And, let's see what it is. And the very first day this individual did that, their fuel mileage was over like 1.5 miles per gallon up. On just their part of the shift.
Yeah.
I don't know why look, I get it, man. It's hard to get used to driving slower and the people flipping you off or whatever. And some of you guys want to argue that you're unsafe out there. I can tell you in 15 years, I've never been rear-ended. Wait. I've never been rear-ended while driving down the road. When I got rear-ended, it was in dead stop traffic by a log or a gravel truck guy who basically fell asleep and never hit the brakes and smashed into the back of us. That's what happened. Had nothing to do with the speed we were driving. It had everything to do with the traffic being stopped. So before anyone twists that, just for fun, I'm throwing that out there. But I've never been in an accident where I was rear-ended while driving 55 or 60 miles an hour, even through Texas. Gasp, I know. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. But I've increased my revenue by, some years $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 by not driving 70 miles an hour. There are times when I will stomp on the pedal and we will go. I got things to do and it makes sense. Or I simply want to get done with my Friday much quicker. But I'm aware of those costs. I know exactly what it's costing me. So I don't know. You guys want to argue this 70 mile an hour thing? I'm down to hear it, man. I mean, look, I've seen people argue, well, I get more miles per year. Well, okay, for a very select few, that may be true. And a lot of times the math doesn't even work out then. We have a lot of these drop and hook loads that are, set to 50 miles an hour average drive speed. You know what I mean? I don't know why you can't make it at 60. Honestly, I don't.
Well, especially with the way the freight is these days. We've talked about this a lot. When Charlie and I first started at Swift, they would literally fire you if you didn't do 8,500 miles a month back then.
Right.
Fire you. Like, you're done. Give us our keys. Bonuses started at 9,500 and went up to, I think it was 12.5 or something like that. And I can't remember a month back then that I wasn't doing 11, 12,000 miles a month in my
Right.
company truck. And sure, yeah, I had that thing all the way against the firewall all the time. But that's in a company truck. I don't care about fuel in a company truck.
Right.
I used to tell my students, I'm like, you're going to drive my truck the way I tell you to. By all means, when you get that white truck from Swift, pedal to the metal, man. You're making money by the mile. I get it. But for me, fuel costs way too much to be doing that. And the freight, man, the freight was all over the place back then.
Right.
That's just not the case in today's market. You got some special guys out there, and we've talked about this, where it does make sense. When I run Opel Leica on the Surge, I'm doing 65 instead of 60. It makes sense there. But you got to look at it, the real numbers, how it affects your operation, and go from there. The other thing people will tell me, well, here's one, Charlie. I got this again the other day. Well, I see those Landstar guys doing almost 80. Okay. That's up to them. Maybe they had this hot overnight run that they had to do, and they negotiated with that broker for an extra $1,000 for that fuel because they could do that there. We don't have that option. We're on a mileage contract. We have no negotiating power on that at all. So what we're trying to do, our game, is to try and keep that overhead as low as we can. And one of the things you can do to accomplish that, especially in today's market, is slow down. I don't think I've had a single load in a year where I absolutely had to do more than 60 to get it there on time, right? Roland says, I'm teaching my last student today. I'll take that over having someone else's camera in my truck and risk my business over random video. That's legitimate, when this first hit the ether, one of the first things I did was I called rapid response and wasn't too happy. And then I talked to Brett, and I told Brett, I said, you're going to lose a lot of guys on insurance. I don't know if you're making any money on that, which, Swift definitely has an MO on that stuff, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I think they're going to lose a big part of that insurance business because of this. Brett's on record saying, do what's good for your business. All we're after is the capacity that you provide to Swift. And, that's great, but I'm sure the bean counters are pulling their hair out right now. First we stopped using the comm data. Now we're going to start using their insurance. I'm sure there's some bean counters that aren't happy. So,
but I forgot to turn my mic back on. But I mean, they do understand. I know Brett understands why we're doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had very frank, open conversations. He's like, do what you got to do. That's best for your business, man. If you guys succeed, we succeed ultimately.
Yeah, Life on 18 wheels, Landstar is paying differently, so compare the two doesn't make sense.
Right.
I try to tell that to people all the time, but they don't listen. They think an owner-operator is an owner-operator is an owner-operator. They don't understand. For some reason, our contract is different than, say, a Landstar contract or a JB Hunt contract or even a Knight contract. It's different.
I'm with you, Ken. What's funny to me, Ken says, what's funny to me is people bitch about 55 in Cali. Why bitch? They're doing you a favor by making you slow down. It's a win-win, but most folks don't get it. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Look.
Well, and Charlie, what when you call me and I'm on the 258 out of Colorado, what do I tell you?
Right.
I'm saving this guy behind me a bunch of money because I'm doing 60 and a 70.
Right.
And they blow by me and they flip me off. I'm like, hey, dude, I just saved you however much money for that amount you were behind me. Just saying.
But boy, are they mad. Good Lord, they're mad. But that's fine. Whatever. I mean, and Life on 18 Wheels, came from Landstar. So, I mean, Life on 18 Wheels knows the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It is truly a different model. Did you touch on Roland's comment there that I had up when I walked away? Sorry,
I did.
Everybody's gone in the house. It's just me and my grandson, and his dad just showed up to take him to dinner. So I had to go up and make sure everything was good. So I apologize.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we touched on that. And Roland, good on you, man. Good on you. I'm just saying, I get the position. I do. I think that, those of you who are making the switch are going to find that it's
not as bad as you think.
Right. It's just not. I mean, you got to work it a little bit differently, right? And I think you'll adapt and you'll work.
Right.
And Roland's on the load board, so I mean, there's still that. I mean, Roland's already on the load board. He's one of our original 10 testers, so I mean, the guy knows how to work that system, so he's got that working for him. And I mean, it's just gonna. Jeff's got hairballs.
Nah, it's just the wife's cooking.
Sorry, right? But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's just so much less stress to me when I made that transition and I dug it. So Jeff's gonna die over here on camera tonight. It's gonna be great. He's starting to cry.
My daughter is looking at me like, no, it's not mom cooking, it's me cooking.
Oh. She's like, I'm the one choking you, Dad. That
would be the other daughter.
Oh, okay, my bad. But yeah, so I mean, look, and by the way, while we're going off on this stuff, if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to throw them up. I mean, we're just going off on what we were talking about, and by no means is it our only thing that we want to talk about. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I mean, you guys, the community, are kind of what drive the show every week. We are still trying to confirm Ian DeGray for next week, because I do want to talk about this camera stuff that we're finding so many people don't know anything about, and it's baffling, and there's not a whole lot of them pushing it, which is weird. And so, we're going to try to get that addressed and find out what's going on, and, get these latest updates as far as, requirements and deadlines, because that deadline is rolling quick, man. The first isn't that far away.
No, that's
and
one of
don't
the things
forget
I'm
Vegas.
That's one of the things I'm kind of nervous about, Charlie, is with this pending claim on my Swift insurance.
Right.
I cannot change insurance companies until that is settled. And that deadline of the 1st is coming up. Literally, I don't know if I told you guys last week, but literally, this happened the day before I was gonna buy the insurance. Like Scott called me the next morning. I'm like, oh, but have you talked to Tony yet? Because I talked to Tony when it happened. He's like, no, what's going on? And so I told him, and he's like, well, crap, we can't bind you now until that's cleared up.
Right. It just sucks.
There was a thing on the portal.
Let's talk about tires. He just wants to hear me talk about molesting tires. There's a thing on the portal. What?
There's a thing here on the portal. And of course I can't open it. 2324 notice of insurance renewal rates fax.
I couldn't get that to open today.
Yeah.
I wanted to read it and I couldn't get it to work. And then I got sidetracked and didn't ask Brett what was going on with that. So I don't know.
Let's see if this works. Talk, Charlie, talk.
Hey, Narc, you say keep them at 110. I'll tell you what I do. I tend to air all of with duals in the back and my steers. What I tend to run is 115. I fill to 115, and then I allow them over time to slowly drop as long as they stay even to 110, and I refill. I refill in the dark at sea level because I have that wonderful ability to do that. So I pretty much stick to that. When I had wide singles, I tried everywhere from about 125 down to 110. Found my best, I believe it was between 115 and 120 on my wide singles, and got the best wear and tear out of them that I could get over the years that I had them. So I'm now adjusting back to having duals on the back instead of wide singles. So I'm going back to my 115, 110 deal because that's in the past where I've always had the best luck and wear, honestly. And I use counteract beads, but my brand new truck does not have any counteract beads in it yet because I haven't busted tires off the rims. But I need to do that. They probably won't go in until I actually replace tires. So right now, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, Bitcoin John. Look at this, man. You're after my own heart, brother. Wednesday, the 5th of April is our day. I should have our our meeting room confirmed tomorrow for the Golden Nugget. So that is happening. And if you're in the Facebook group, if not, I will try and I haven't put a link up in here. I haven't built a link for the reservation thing, the payment spot. Unfortunately, it's a PayPal payment spot. Whatever. It sucks. But
Yeah,
that's what we had to use for now.
we were trying to get it the new platform launched and this done all at the same time, and it's a little more work on getting the platform launched than we thought. So we decided, oh, we need to get something up. So let's just do PayPal.
Right.
And for those of you that don't know, if you're old like me, you can just use a credit or debit card through PayPal. You don't have to have a PayPal account. I wanted to put that out there.
Right. Let me copy this link real quick so I can. How do I do this? I'm not sure how to do it. Oh, wait. I can click that.
So this is probably something
That's
Charley
crazy.
already knew, but I didn't because I don't pay as much attention to Charley as I don't have the fetish like Charley.
Right.
Narc says, so if you read the sidewall, most tires say 120 cold, but I think if you keep them the same around 110, you're great.
And
yeah.
that's kind of been my bottom end. Like I said, I feel to 115 and really found the best wear from that level.
And that's why I say Narc. So the reason we do this way is advice given by Mike Beckett, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was Mike that put that out. This is a guy that's older than Ken Kelly, and that's been doing tires and stuff for ages.
That's
ages.
saying something.
And
not bad.
He shows up on Kevin Rutherford's stuff from time to time, talking about just tires. Which tires to buy, how to inflate them, how to take care of them, how to molest them like Charley does. He teaches that. So
right. That's where I got my tire stroking and stuff was from them, from learning to feel the differences, and identifying, scrubbing and feathering and heel toe wear and understanding what those things when you feel them, because you'll feel them before you see them. It's really kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's where the tire touching came from. It's kind of a weird deal, but I mean, RC trucker, I fill my tires up at home with a compressor here at the house. I used to do it on the road at the truck stops. I would make sure that I was parked overnight so the tires were cold in the morning. I'd get up early in the dark and get them filled up and make sure they're all equal and even.
Yep.
Do it before you get rolling. That tire pass stuff freaks me out. The Loves, I don't understand it because they're checking tire pressures when you're just coming off the road, and there's some weird equalization things that, I don't know, man. It freaks me out.
Well, one of the things that I want to do is get one of those Bluetooth tire pressure things,
right?
For the valve stems.
Yeah, the TPMS.
Yeah. So
I'll argue with you here on this one, Narc. So you say you like the Centromatics better than the beads, personally. So here's what I came across. I had Centromatics, and I had an issue with my wide singles starting to cup. And listening to Kevin Rutherford, it was back when the counteract balance beads were just kind of getting out there and really getting popular. they had noticed that they were able to take some of the cupping out of wide singles. And I thought, well, hell, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I swapped over to the counteract balance beads, and lo and behold, it actually helped even out the cupping. And they say that once your tires start cupping, you're just done until you're done with the tires. The cupping will always be there. But I found personally, and had heard about others, that we actually reduced the cupping and it actually extended the life of the tire. And that was on a set of retread wide singles at that. So that one freaked me out. But the good thing about the counteract beads is that they balance each tire individually around, and they spread out across the face of the tire, where the centromatic tends to balance the entire wheel assembly end itself. And so, I mean, and for a time I actually had both, because as I was transitioning over, and when I got rid of the centromatics, I didn't notice any increase, but I didn't see any decrease. Right. So there was no change by dropping the centromatics and just using counteract beads. I was still getting amazing wear. Like, seriously.
So Ken does the same thing as you do. RC Trucker, how about the air hoses we have up to our glad hand?
The only problem with those is I don't think you can get enough air pressure out of most of them.
I can get 110. Out of mine.
That's what I do in an emergency, because
Yeah,
I want to go above 110. So
if I'm doing my pre-trip and one's below 110, I'll do that. But yeah, 110 is the most I think I've ever gotten out of it. Some of it might be because I get bored, because it takes for freaking ever to air up a tire with those things.
And for those of you who don't know, Narc chiming in on this mechanical stuff. The dude actually knows stuff. He's like a legit ASC certified, diesel mechanic guy. So I'm just saying, the guy knows some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm talking out of turn here. I mean, the guy is he works on trucks. I mean, that's his bread and butter. At least that's how I understand it. You can correct me if I'm wrong, sir. I'm just saying. By the way, just saying, numbered number 2, 3, and 4, and number 100. And I don't know if you know this, Narc, but the Minecraft duck, bro, you just don't even know how well you nailed that one. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Half the time when I call him and he's at the house, he's playing Minecraft.
It's true. I'm a Minecraft nerd. I haven't played in like 2 months because I got mad at the game and I literally stopped playing. But when I saw that Minecraft duck, you just don't even know. I was like giddy like a little girl on Christmas morning, getting a brand new Barbie doll. Rosie cracked up when I pulled it out. It was the first. I was like, oh my God. It's a Minecraft duck. So yeah. Just saying. It's awesome. So yeah. And there you go. Just confirming what I was saying. He makes a living spinning wrenches. So I mean, we've got a couple people in our community here that are wrench turners, and most of them kind of chime in with the same type of stuff. So it's not like we're making stuff up. Pretty much when we talk about stuff, we try to have some backing behind it, or someone who's smarter than us at that topic, so that we can deal with that.
I might have to look into this because my tools on the truck are Milwaukee tools.
Ooh,
yeah,
that could be cool. That might be one of those must-have on the truck type deals right there.
Yeah. Because I've been trying to figure out how to put a compressor on the truck. Like Rutherford about 2 years ago was talking to Beckett about this, because they're recommending higher pressures than even Charley uses, and they were running into the refills at the truck stops. They were actually putting air back into the system because they were pumping their tires up to like 120, 125.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
if
a lot of truck stops won't allow you to go past 110. Figure that out.
Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of guys will get new tires like at a Love's, and they're like, I want them to 115 or 120 or whatever it is, depending on the tire. And they just flat refuse. No, it's 110. That's what we're putting in there.
I heard advice recently, someone saying that, fill your tires to 105 in the summer because they heat up and the pressure goes up. And I thought that is absolutely terrible advice personally. I don't know. I mean, professionals like Mike Beckett are like, yeah, that's crazy. You know, you lower the tire pressure, you're actually creating more friction, therefore creating more heat. More heat creates a higher likelihood of catastrophic tire failure.
Hmm. I hadn't heard that one. The
I
recommendation, that is.
yeah, it hurt my head, not gonna lie. But whatever. I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I tend to follow what, you know, super tire guys say, and Mike Beckett is, you know, in my book, the tire guy out there. Let's see. Oh, it's like 12 inches long, 8 inches tall, and 6 inches deep. That's awesome. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Yes, never lower to tires to expect attempts to raise the tire. You know, it's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know where some people say things like that, but I mean, I see a lot of people say, "Oh, just run your tires at 100 pounds," and I'm like, "Wow, that's a lot of sidewall flex and a lot of extra surface you're adding, creating more rolling resistance and creating more heat due to the friction." And it just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to keep promoting and recommending what we do because, like I said, Mike Beckett said so, and that guy is the tire guru of the planet. I can't remember his son's name. What's his son's name?
Who's?
Craig. I know you know it if you're still here. But yeah, so what about ARB air compressors for off-road vehicles? I don't know what that is. ARB. I feel silly because there's something I don't know. Someone fill me in. That would be awesome. I have to look that up now. Dang it. More stuff to look up. But yeah. Oh, I was going to try and create the link in the chat for the Vegas show. I forgot. I don't have that readily available, so I apologize. It is in the Facebook group at the top of the group, though, for those of you who want to reserve one of those 40 seats that we are offering. It is a max capacity of 40 individuals attending because we got to pay for a room, a big meeting room at the Golden Nugget. But that's where we're going to be at the Golden Nugget, and that is Wednesday, April 5th. We'll be in there for about 8 hours in that meeting room. Like I said, we got a couple of speakers. We got Sue Smith, who's going to be talking to us. Dana Nelson is going to be coming to talk to us about her experiences and some great information she has. And then Alan Becker is going to be doing some brake adjustment and some basic maintenance stuff. And then he's going to give away $300 worth of brake adjusting tools and that sort of thing. So, you know, it'll be fun. And we get to hang out in Vegas, just saying.
So I just looked it up, and it's $139 if it's the one he's talking about. $139 on Amazon.
Nice. That's absolutely worth the cash.
Yeah. I just had to look it up. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm glad someone did. Oh, RC said the ARB is a portable mountable vehicle air compressor. Cool. So there you go. Something else I don't have to look up. But by all means, if you guys got any questions, throw them up. I think I missed something back there. I'm going to scroll back up. I thought I missed something. Nope, I don't see anything. So if I missed something, please, by all means, throw them up. The date is April 5th. It's a Wednesday. The times will be either 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. Don't know. We actually haven't decided on that. We actually haven't even talked about that. I'm guessing 9 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be my guess. Let's throw it out there. 9 to 5. What say you, Jeff?
I might need that extra hour, just saying.
Right? It's Vegas, y'all.
We might have another one of those cover bands doing stuff.
Right? Dude, that Led Zeppelin band was awesome. I'm just saying. I mean, dude was a little off key, but whatever. I mean, whatever. I'm a little sensitive to sound. What do you want me to say? But they were great still. It was a great performance. And that crazy church group was out there with their giant sign trying to block everything. That was interesting.
So Matt wasn't paying attention, and I have proof because
we just talked about the Centromatics, Matt. So You're fired. We love
Codename
you. You
Codename
big
Mark prefers them. Charlie prefers the balance beats.
right.
But this one, no, the Halo tire system. You don't see a lot of these on the tractors, do you?
No, that was a quick answer. Did you like that? You were
Yeah,
expecting me to expound on that, weren't
I
you?
was, because you know more about tires than I do.
So on the Halo system, I really don't know anything about it. Yeah, Matt goes into timeout. um, RC Trucker, will you guys post that info when for sure? I've got to pay for entry. Yes, it is $150. We got to pay for a meeting room in Vegas. So yeah, we are trying to cover costs and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, we've got people coming out there to talk and giving stuff away and all that. It is in the Facebook group. If you're in the private Facebook group, I don't know if you are or not, RC Trucker. If not, hit me up on Facebook and I can send you a link through Messenger or something like that. Let me know what you want to do and we can go on from there. Bitcoin John, Apple Pay. I don't think so. Can you use Apple Pay through PayPal? Our only payment option right now, man, is PayPal. Unfortunately, I apologize for that. It's just what we ended up having to do for this one this year because we didn't get our other payment system set up yet. So it's just, yeah, it's what it is. Barb says, "Sorry, I'm gonna miss Vegas. I'm not getting back from my vacation until April 3rd. Hey, it's all good. You got to take care of you. Vacation is yeah. I mean,
She's going to the other side of the world for that, isn't she?
I think she's leaving the planet.
Okay, that makes
I think
sense.
yeah, but that's cool. And RC Trucker, it is a PayPal site. Like I said, I can send you the link directly. I failed and didn't put it on here as like a little banner type deal because that would have been smart on my part. What I will try and do is after this show, I'm gonna go grab the link and I'll put it down in the description of the show because I failed to do that today as well. So it will be down in the description from this point forward. And like I said, we've only got 40 seats available and people are starting to purchase stuff, which is cool, and reserve their spots. And I will have it locked in tomorrow for sure. They've already assured me I just got to send them money tomorrow to lock the room down, and we're good. It will be the 5th of April. That is a Wednesday. It's first week of April at the Golden Nugget.
Yep.
So there you go. Oh, that would have been cool. Took my stepdad to see Paige and Plant 95 in Washington State. I bet that was fun, actually. Oh, that's right. She has family flying in from Germany.
So she has family flying in from across the world.
And then they're going to leave the planet and go like up to the moon and go hang out.
I saw that movie.
Barb's awesome. I'm just saying.
Iron Skies. Saw that movie.
Hey, that's a name I'm not familiar with, Nate Train. And not saying hi to me. Oh wait, he said, "What's up? What's going on up there?" Hey, we're hanging out, talking stuff, answering questions. If you got any, by all means, please throw them up. If anyone actually wants to call in and have a chat, talk about something, feel free. The number's scrolling there across the bottom of the screen, and I should probably check the phone, see if and we're good there still. So yeah, good Lord. And there you go, Nate. So or codename said, "What's up?" Oh God, trademark. Gonna get slammed for that one.
Uh-oh.
Hey, and you guys that are missing Vegas, look, it's cool. We dig it. We know, look, you got to get out there and make money. You got other things going on in life. That's cool. I mean, we'd love to see you there. Don't get me wrong. And I think that, this is our first official one. And going forward from this point, we have some ideas and we've done some learning about it. So, I mean, look, the next ones will be even better. Just saying.
Yep.
Ever upgraded your truck stereo system? Yep. I usually do that like the day I pick up a new truck or the day I swap a truck. Not difficult in most cases. But if you're in a lease, save the old radio. Put it in a box, store it somewhere so that when you're done with that truck, if by some reason you have to turn that truck in or whatever plays
Charlie,
out.
Charlie. That doesn't say that anywhere in the contract.
You shut your mouth.
See me
look,
poking the bear.
And you're talking about putting me in timeout, you bastard. I mean, I love the hell out of you, but good Lord. So, you triggered me. I've been triggered. I need a trophy and a hug. Matt Nissen, where are you, brother? I need a big calming man bear hug thing. But yes, I have upgraded stereos in my trucks. Usually not very difficult.
I did it in my last 2 trucks. This one had a decent deck in it already, so I didn't bother. And mine's got that everything's wired into the stereo thing going on.
Right.
I'm not sure, like with the lane departure thing.
I'm sure you could do it. I'm sure it's tapped into speakers and that sort of thing.
So here's what you do though, JC. JC says, I don't think the other half will allow me a double Vegas trip. It's tax
deductible. This
deductible.
Is business, bro.
It's tax deductible.
Yeah. This is a business expense. Look at Narc living up to the Narc name. I'm just saying. Charley cusses at 7:05 p.m. Strike one. Here we go. Now it starts. Taylor said, hey, so I don't know if you remember me. I'm still a company driver for Swift, and I'm looking to lease my company truck. I wanted to know if it's worth getting brand new tires from Swift or just buy my own. It's almost always better. Yeah, almost always it's better to go through the Swift National Tire account, provided you get the tires you need. How's that? And that's not a stupid question.
There's certain terminals, like I know West Valley City, Troutdale, and Phoenix will order the exact tires I want. It might take a day or two, but I get the tires I want, and I get that national account discount on them.
Right.
Because like the tires that I like are over $600 a piece. You know, I don't know what they are now because things went up, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
The last time I bought decent tires,
I see you, Ken. Stand by.
They were $600 a piece, and then Swift gives you a casing credit if you haven't worn them all the way down to the belts, which goes towards the purchase price. Plus, they've got the national tire discount. So all in for these $600 tires that at TA is what you would pay for them. I paid like $420 per tire.
Right.
And so people will, well, Swift wants that 10% surcharge for doing that. Well, what's $180 times 6?
Right.
It's more than 10% that I saved, so it's worth it.
Right. And JC, check it out. You know, you could get a load up there, deliver a Costco load in Vegas or Hendersonville, right? Take a 34, come to the conference, hang out, meet a few people, do a little networking, and then load right out of there. See what I did there? Just saying. And Nate Train, I see your comment. I'm not afraid of your comment, but I'm not going to throw it up because it'll just send me off in a place that we don't need to go this week, I hope. So yeah, I dig it. I hear you. Not arguing. How's that? Yeah. Oh, Otis said, do you guys like your trucks idle in the summer, or do you use external air conditioner?
I just let mine idle.
You know, it's a thing. I try not to idle if I can't, but Rosie and I, even running, kind of our super solo thing, don't do a ton of idling. And honestly, and this new Freightliner has that cool little fan that's built in the little window in the sleeper. You know, that little hatch that pops open, the little flip out thing. It's got a fan built into it, and I dig it. It's actually kind of nice. I don't know why, but
I'll say, because guys in the group have asked me about this a couple of times in the last few weeks. I'm seriously starting to look at an APU.
I'm going to bring Ken Kelly from the phone.
Oh boy. Okay.
You grumpy old bastard. What do you got?
Yeah, and here you are. You don't want to put comments on the screen and fight.
What's going on, man?
Hey, dude. Just a couple of comments I got to make. Like these guys with the radios I was reading on Facebook too that they want to change grills. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I just went through the turn and lease Friday and the inspection.
Right.
I'm here to tell you that if it's not showroom floor with original equipment, you're going to pay for it
Right.
dearly. I mean, absolutely dearly. I was asking around with the body shop. The average end of lease bill is between $5,000 and $8,000.
Wow.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's the average.
They
And they're
definitely
not
seem to
messing around
be.
in Phoenix anymore.
They definitely seem to be way more thorough on the end of lease than they do at the beginning of lease. Just gonna throw it out there. Not
Yeah,
cracking on
no,
anybody. I
I've
mean,
already.
it should be on us to do the beginning of the lease. Let's be real, right? But how many of us actually do it?
Yeah. Well, I already brought something up with that stupid camera they put in my truck that I got taken out.
Nice.
But they got the curtain. I got a Volvo since I never drove one. But I just feeling weird. But the curtain that goes across the windshield,
Right.
the rail, they cut all into that to put that camera in there.
Nice.
So I had to report that saying, dude, at the end of the lease, I ain't paying for that crap. You
Right.
people did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's coming out of your pocket, not out of mine.
Hey Ken,
But,
so when I
yeah.
know you did a post about it, but for people that aren't in the Facebook group, how did your whole process go with the new lease signing and the insurance, since you started fresh with a brand new lease and outside insurance? How'd that go?
Well, I'm not going to use the same comment that I did to make you laugh so hard.
Right.
But what I did was I got a load out of Paris, California. They're just south of San Bernardino, and took a short run over there and delivered at I can't remember where I delivered. Target, I guess.
Right.
Is it Target? Anyway, it's real close to the Phoenix terminal, off of Van Buren and
Yep.
75th. And I went over there, but while I was in transit, I called Seabright, and Sandy answered the phone, Miss Sandy, and she's just a joy to work with. She's
Nice.
just fun to work with. And told her everything, and she gave me the options. And I said, well, this is what because I don't need supplemental insurance. I've got revenue. Hell, I got a revenue stream from the government if I wanted one.
Right.
I haven't taken it yet, but I got a couple other revenue streams, so I don't need it. That said, for you younger folks that got car payments, boat payments, motorcycle payments, and house payments,
Right.
I would really highly recommend that you get that part. But I really didn't need it. But we went over that. She emailed the form, the OCAC form to fill out,
Right.
and I got that done and sent it back to her. The next day, I went through that joyous process that we all love and look forward to,
Right.
moving from one truck to the other. And then you realize, like, how did I accumulate so much crap? It's like, where did this stuff come from? Got that done. Went in, got the permit book there, Building 10. After I brought they make you walk all the way from the body shop to Building 10. I'm here to tell you, in Phoenix, there's no further walk.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you don't do it when it's hot. So I walked all the way down and talked to Sean. He gave me the permit book. So I had the VIN number and an approximate SLV value. They don't lock that in until they print the contract, because you need to get something going. So you get kind of a estimate there, and they go high. Called Sandy back with all of that. She emailed me back the forms, the two or three forms I needed to sign with the signature. She said, okay, give me an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours. I had it in like 30 minutes. Had the COI. Forwarded a copy to IEL. They had already printed out the hard copy before I walked into the building. Had it in their hands, and I signed the lease. It's that freaking easy.
And dude, that's awesome. I mean, seriously. And now that they're
Yeah.
actually sending all those certificates over, and we don't actually have to do it, it just took another
Right.
step out of our hand.
They're sending it to a woman named Denise, I believe her name
Yep.
is. But they Waverly, if you know who Waverly is, she forwards all that email to you too. So anything that she sends to Swift and Denise, you get a copy of that too. It's literally that easy. It's super easy and it's stress free.
Right.
It's great, and it saves you. Oh, and the original quote that I had when I said I was high,
Right.
I wasn't happy with the price, but when I called back and I left out a step. After you sign the lease, you got to send pages 7, 8, and 10.
Right.
Just take a picture of it and send it into her. And she sent me an email back and said, well, we were too high on the insurance. We dropped down the price that we're going to insure you, and you just saved $175.
Right.
If that doesn't make your day, nothing will.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, it was really pretty easy. I was surprised. In fact, I was quite surprised about how easy it was, and I'm just happy I did it, because the least I have to do with Swift right now, the better off I am. And it has nothing to do with the company.
Right.
They're
It's just
just
it's creating that
I don't-
autonomy, the separation between our business and their business.
Right, and yeah, that, but they're getting a little bit obnoxious with us too. So I'm really not tickled with some of their attitude lately with some people.
And just to
So-
answer a quick question, Robert Stover threw up, can I get the Seabright insurance on a truck that 2 guys are driving for me? Absolutely. Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, Alan Becker's got
it's
it on
really
his
easy.
additionals. So Ken, since we have you on the phone
Super
here,
easy.
you run the I-5
Okay.
corridor quite a bit, don't you?
Almost all the time, man.
So someone asked, and I didn't have a good answer to this. How much time can you spend in California without falling under all that AB5 BS?
It's not time based. You can spend an eternity down there for all anybody cares. It's your miles. You got to keep it down to 49% total miles.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because we got people that are running like the new Cabela's dedicated, and they were a little concerned about, how often can they dip into California before they start having to worry about that stuff. So
Oh, I wouldn't even sweat if they're running Cabela's, because then they'll be running east to west in California. There's no reason for them to go north and south. So they're not going to be putting on that many miles.
right.
I mean, I can think of hell, I can only think of one Bass Pro Shop, and that's on 80 in Rockland,
Mm-hmm.
and that's you're only 100 miles into California if you can get across Donner, but you're only 100 miles there, and that's it. But I don't know if they can have any other Bass Pro Shops or Cabela. I don't think they got a Cabela's in California at all. I've never seen one. Have you, Jeff?
Not that I remember, no.
It's been too long for me that
But they've all
haven't been there.
they have been expanding the last couple of years too, though. So I don't know.
Yeah, they got 2 in Washington. They got the 1 in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a post that somebody was talking about that he was on Cabela's and he was complaining about the Oregon road tax, and I just talked to Jim this morning. He's the guy that runs Cabela's. I had a conversation with him this morning in person, and I think they covered the Oregon road tax for you. If you're going to be going in and out of Oregon as an owner-operator all the time, they'll cover the Oregon road tax. Because there's no way you can afford it.
That would be a good deal. I mean, if you had to do that sort of thing. I mean, I know when I was on Cabela's initially, they sure the hell wasn't the case, because it was killing me.
Why aren't you on Cabela's, Jeff? It's only down the street from where you live there.
So I don't wanna. I'm doing the ERF thing right now.
Oh, okay.
That's a legit answer right there.
Oh, okay.
I don't wanna.
Yeah, I don't want to. That's like people ask me to buy. I don't want to. I know Jeff and you guys push that, but I just don't want to.
And that's legit, That's part of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Let me address this comment real quick. Tennessee Trucking says, I can't believe the fuel discount on Condetta for Swift. I'm interested in the ES fuel card. What kind of savings are you seeing while utilizing the ES card? Number one, you don't get a discount from Comdata with Swift. You get a 5-cent rebate if you use the card at one of the big 5 truck stops. Just want to make sure the wording is appropriate here, because it is not a discount. It is a rebate after the fact. A discount is happens in real time at the transaction point. A rebate comes after the fact, and that's what that is. It is a 5-cent rebate from only the big five. Like when I use it at the QT, I don't get a rebate. I pay whatever I paid. That's it. And we're seeing anywhere from could be 40 cents to well over $1 a gallon at
Off
the
at the
same
pump.
place. It's funny. So that guy I was telling you about earlier, who was fueling at the said he was going to fuel up at the Loves across from the QT, could have, had he had the ES Advantage card, actually paid a little bit less at that Loves, the very same Loves. It was 47 cents more had he had the ES Advantage card. Oh, my bad. Bleep.
You have to go back and bleep that.
Damn it. Now I got to do
We
a
haven't
video
made
edit.
we haven't made that mistake in a while.
I'm gonna let it slide and never mind. Ignore. So yeah, anyhow, discounts were available.
Squirrels,
and
Charlie.
Squirrels, bro. I
Squirrels.
know. I'm sidetracked. Yeah. So RC Trucker said he saved $76 in 2 Phillips. I've had savings up to $150 in a single Phillip. So I mean, there's a lot to be saved out there.
But see, that's the thing about being an owner operator. You were talking about being an owner operator and paying for a job. Nothing aggravates me more. I don't know how you two feel about it, but and I've been at this for a beat anyway.
Right.
Nothing aggravates me more than somebody they fail at their business totally, crash and burn, and blame it on everything else
Right.
and everybody else. Swift did this to me, or this person did this to me, and this person did that, because you're not involved in your business. You got to be 100% involved with this. And Jeff, was it the other day, that post? I told them you could explain it better than I did, but they go, "What do you guys mean by the numbers? Know your numbers." So I said, that's your profit. Basically what they're talking about, your profit loss statement. You don't know that? How can you possibly run a business and not know what your cash flow is?
Right.
Yeah, and we're baby stepping him. We're actually baby stepping him into that. So if he's actually listening to us today, just remember what we asked you to do this week. We had some actions for him. So
there you go.
Okay. Yeah, but everybody else, and that's why getting your own fuel card is a good thing. You're managing that money. And I think I look at it the same way, Joe. Is it you that look at it? Once I put it on the ES card, to me it's an expenditure, and I've already think of it that way. One of the two of you don't think of it that way, but I do. Once I put it on the card, I'd spin it, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
And take advantage of that. Take advantage of the insurance. Take charge of your business. Do your books. Do it.
Tennessee Trucking followed up
with,
he said, I don't know. See, I'm new at Swift, leased a truck that I haven't even pulled a first load with yet. I'm in a loaner truck. I've been using FuelBook to find better fuel stops. And look.
Well, that actually puts you ahead of most people.
Right.
Already.
Because a lot of people that I talk to, I'm like, well, okay, so you haven't made the switch to ES. How are you shopping for fuel? And they're like, I look at the big truck stop apps to see what the price is, and I hope. I mean, FuelBook by itself is a money saver. Let's just be real. And, add in there, I had problems with FuelBook not showing QTs along my routes. So I downloaded the QT app so I could check along those routes, right? And get current prices off of their app. And so I, use that when I'm doing that thing. And use every tool available to you. Use every tool you can use to find the best price. Some days, there have been days when Condata was the better price at certain locations. It's a fact. And by all means, go use that. Get the best price for your fuel. For a good quality fuel. I'm afraid of some of the tiny mom and pops because of the volumes that they do. They tend not to move as much volume in some of them. And others, do great business, but I'm afraid of the smaller mom and pops. So I tend to avoid those. But I find pretty comparable prices at places like QT, things like that. If I'm shopping that market or utilizing the ES Advantage card, I mean, the prices are just insane most of the time. They're insanely low. So I mean, it's a real thing.
Well, and I don't know if you've I'm just gonna call it them Tennessee. I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but one of the things I love when I'm reverting back to COM data for whatever reason, when I am using Fuel Book and I find a great price, and I go in there and it takes 20 minutes just to get at the pump, and there's not a single company truck in that line.
Mm-hmm.
It's all owner operators, whether they're dependent or leased on to somebody. It's all owner operators in that line. You probably got your best fuel price right there.
Right. And Tennessee said you're definitely afraid of getting poor quality fuel. So, one of the things that I've always done, I haven't put a brand new fuel filter, a spare filter in this new Freightliner yet, just because I haven't actually gone part shopping for it yet. But I always kept extra fuel filters and, a fuel filter wrench and all those things. So, in the event that I got a bad load of fuel, I could run that damn fuel out and fix those problems without having to spend, $400 for a road call or pulling it into, a shop somewhere.
And one of the things that Alan has in that toolkit he's building, he's going to raffle off, is a fuel filter wrench.
There you go.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot.
You got another call in the queue too.
My squirrel. Oh, I'll let you go here in a minute, but my squirrels are going nuts. Tires. Here's another aspect that people don't talk about. I got to go 72 miles an hour. I got to do this. It's
Right.
tire wear. Now, Jeff, you and I, we don't buy cheap tires. We buy the Michelin Energy tires, particularly on the stairs. I love those. But they're not cheap. And because they're not cheap, I don't want to be wearing them out at 72 miles an hour.
Right.
And you will wear out a tire a lot faster at 72 miles an hour than you will at 60.
Yep.
And that's
That's
proven
just
science
physics.
right there. Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Physics.
that's science.
Higher speed, more friction, more wear, more scrubbing.
Yep.
And you
100%.
brought up earlier the 105 pressure. That's a bunch of horse shit. Pardon
Right.
my language.
You're good.
But during the summer your tires will get warm with 110, 115, and they will expand, but they get taller, which lessens your contact patch because they're saving you rubber anyway. So anybody who wants to, let's download, bring the pressure down so we can put more rubber on the highway to wear them out faster, is a complete idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I had a student. He's not an owner operator anymore, but he was for years. And he used to just shake his head. How are you getting so much more mileage out of your tires than me? And we bought the same tires because he took my advice. I'm like, well, Jarrett, you're driving 68 miles an hour everywhere you go.
Hang tight, Tennessee. I'll get to you here pretty quick.
I drive 60, as you know. That's the difference. And my tires lasted, 300,000 miles, even with those energy tires, which are a different compound. That's one of the things people say is, well, I would rather have my tires last longer. At what expense?
Right.
At what expense? My energy tires last me about 3 years. My last two trucks that I didn't buy out, I replaced tires on those trucks once, and when I turned them into IEL, they did not charge me for tires. So there you go. And that's driving 60 versus 70, 72.
I just turned the truck in. It was 4.5 years old, and it was on their second set of drives. I didn't get charged for it.
Yeah.
And here's one for you, Jeff. They asked me why I still had 60% on my brakes after 4.5 years.
Yeah, because I don't have students.
Right.
And I know the meaning of throttle control.
Right.
I
Proper use of the Jake brake and those sorts of things.
Well, I have had this truck for just over 6 years, and I've changed the brakes once. So,
Damn, dude, you're doing good. You're outpacing me.
Yeah, so
I have to catch up now. You're making me feel bad.
Yeah.
That's not good for you, Jeff.
Charley will Charlie will send you a brand new in the box lighter.
Oh, a Zippo? Do I get a
Zippo.
Zippo?
What
Yeah,
are you
a
talking
Zippo.
about? How did this turn into me sending lighters?
Because
bad
you're
enough when they were
supposed
trying to get people to send them this way.
because when you start
Because
actually getting
I
lighters,
need-
you're going to want to get rid of them.
Good Lord.
and I want my participation trophy for being outdone by
You're
Jeff.
too old to get a participation trophy. That's all I got to say about it. All right,
Hey,
Ken, I
Sean.
appreciate
I'll
you,
let
buddy.
you guys go so you can talk to Tennessee. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
And
still there?
the next call is Tennessee Trucking. Let me bring it up. Tennessee, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool.
You hear me?
Welcome, man.
Hey, how you doing?
Another day in paradise, brother.
Hey, I'm new here at Swift.
Cool.
As of yesterday, I've been here a month, but the truck that I leased is in Decatur. It had to go into the shop. It had, and it just was not ready at all.
Right. Which is unfortunate for sure.
And long story short, it's no big deal. I know the equipment breaks and stuff happens, but when I inspected it, I found some issues, and it just blew my mind how Swift jumped right on it and just they attacked the truck.
Cool.
And kudos to that Decatur yard. Those guys are just phenomenal.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I like Michelle and like I'm sorry, working with Michelle and when you find a problem like that over there at that. Well, no, you're saying Decatur. I was thinking Greer. I don't know who your recruiter was. But I'm glad to hear that Decatur jumped on it because I have not had the best luck at Decatur. But that's me personally.
Decatur's,
that's just me.
If you can get it in there, they're really good. I've had good experiences with them. Okay. If you can get it in, but they are one of the larger terminals. So when you're just coming in off the road, you say, "Hey, I need a B service." It might take a minute because they've got that huge fleet there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
Well, that's okay. But I was just floored at how they've handled it so far. But my Kenworth had the most amazing roar at 35 miles an hour up to 55. It's predominant 30 bad.
Wow.
And I had to take it over to HC Kenworth, and I took it over there and Ubered back to the terminal. And then I was floored again when they said, "Hey, take this loaner truck." I'm like, no way.
All right. That is one of the nice things is they do have that big network of trucks that we can get popped into. The unfortunate side is the cameras that are in them, but that's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cameras really don't bother me. But on this ES fuel card, that's intriguing. It's intriguing to me. I've recently come off the spot market. I was running for an 80/20 carrier.
Right.
And it just got to the point where the truck was consuming every available extra dollar that I could muster.
Right.
And I was doing the repairs myself. I did steers myself. Wow. I did the front brakes on drums myself, a carrier bearing, a surge tank, and a sensor.
Right.
And that was $800.
Yeah.
And then the Y shifter went out of it. So I did the XY shifter and wiring harness myself right in my own driveway.
Right.
So right after that, I just heard inklings through the grapevine that the guy I was buying the truck from was going to file for bankruptcy.
Oh, great.
So I tried to refinance that truck, and because it's a 2016, nobody would touch it in another company, and because it's got more than 500,000 miles on it, we won't touch it.
Right.
So I lost it. So now I'm here at Swift, and I'm just trying to make the best out of what's going on. It's really not a bad. From what I'm seeing, it's not bad at all.
Right.
But I got to get a hold of a better fuel. Like I said, I've been digging in fuel book, trying to find the better fuel stops.
Right. What portion of the country are you running in mostly?
Well, I've been trying to get back to Decatur. My truck's been out of the shop for a week,
Okay.
and I'm in the west. I'm going to New Mexico now from Denver.
Okay. Definitely look at the
I-
QTs in the south, and when you get over into the southeast, while you're still on Condata, and then by all means, you know, when you do make the transition over the ES Advantage card, and I don't know if you're aware or not, but the ES Advantage card is a prepaid card, so you got to load money onto it.
Right.
The reason that we went with ES, in case you're unaware, is when we got to talk to them before we ever made any moves, we found out that they are passing through 100% of the discount that they negotiate. People like Nastic or other fuel cards out there, and I'm not cracking on them. I mean, it's business. You know, let's say they negotiate $1 discount at Truck Stop Fluffy, and then you go there to get fuel, and they give you 90 cents off that price. So they're keeping that 10 cents. Whereas ES Advantage card is, if they negotiate $1, your discount is $1, right? So we really
Right.
like that model, because that's not their mode of generating revenue.
Yeah.
Right. They do charge a $2.50 transaction fee when you slide the card at the pump, right? And that is just what it is. It's, you know, a processing fee. And it was funny because I had someone argue with me one time about Nastic versus ES Advantage, and you know, the Nastic month or the membership fee and their fees and all this other, and they're like, yeah, but you're getting charged $2.50 to swipe that card. And even when we calculated in the loading fee of 0.5% if you transfer money onto it from an ACH, like straight out of your bank account or something like that, and that $2.50 fee, we were still coming in on average about 7 to 10 cents less than what Nastic was charging you at the same place.
Yep.
I mean, we did a lot of research on this. I mean, a ton of research, and we are all about numbers.
We even in the beginning, we had some members that were using Nastic, and we were comparing our discounts to theirs side by side
at the same stops.
At the same stops. So it's it's just a good group of people to work with. There's a group that has more of a community mentality.
Right.
Yeah, when we said, hey, Jeff Reese is our contact over at ES Advantage in trucking, and we said, hey, we've got this concern about insurance, and he said, hey, I know a guy. Let me get you in contact with that guy. And that's how this whole insurance thing started.
And that guy spent the next 3.5 months busting his tail. I mean, I got calls or text messages from one night, this Saturday night one time. It was like 11 o'clock my time. And, you know, he's in Minnesota, so he's an hour off. So, you know, he's like, hey, I just got off the phone with the lawyers and the ultimate underwriter, and we just worked out another part of the deal. I'm like, holy hell, this guy's just relentless. I mean, the guy was working all the time for us, you know.
And our next thing was, hey, Jeff, we're not seeing the value from ATBS as an accounting service and a consulting firm. And he said, let me look into that for you.
And so
I mean,
yeah.
So
and that's kind of our thing is, you know, we're trying to build a community and that sort of thing. So, and the thing that turned on ES Advantage to us was the conversation that went along the lines of, they're like, hey, and you get a $50 referral bonus for everybody you bring in on the card. And I'm like, that's great. Instead of me getting or Jeff getting that $50 referral bonus, can we put it back on the fuel card of the person who just signed up? And they said, what'd you say? They're like,
well, honey, hush. That's
right.
That's awesome of you.
Right. And then they said, they're like, we've never actually had anyone ever ask us that. And absolutely, we can do that.
And like 2 days,
100%.
And like 2 days later, they had a landing page and they had all the coding done. And
yeah, they built the landing page for us over the weekend. Jeff Reese did it himself, as a matter of fact. That was on a Friday, and Monday morning, in fact, Sunday, it was done. Right. And then we started promoting the fuel card. We make zero, Jeff and I, Contractor's Corner, and anyone we know makes zero from anybody using the card. Just like the insurance deal we brokered, we make zero from it. And apparently we found out that we probably walked away from a bunch of money on the insurance deal that we won't get into. But man, you know, Jeff and I don't want to make money off of a product we didn't create or that we aren't making, right? So when we find these
Right.
deals, for us, we want to pass them on to our community, and that's what we look at. Everyone who listens every week and chimes in on the private the private Facebook group and all that, is we are trying to build a community, and our partnership with ES Advantage and Seabright Insurance and some other things we're working on now for other things to help our people do better and pay less and get better service. I mean, like I said, I'm paying $4 more per month to get the Seabright Insurance, but the level of service and the amount of coverage I'm getting is far superior to what I was getting from Swift and their insurance carriers, right? And we're getting comparable discounts to what we know Swift is getting on their brokered end, but they're only willing to give us a 5-cent rebate. I mean, hey, I'm not mad at them. I was for a minute, but I mean, that's business. They're like, hey, we're fronting you the cost of the fuel. You don't pay us until we settle up with you. So whatever. So, okay, it's a convenience fee, right? But it's an expensive convenience fee. So the sooner you can get swapped over to ES, we're not saying get rid of the con data, because there are times when the terminal prices are cheaper, or you may find a QT that's actually beating the local stop where you would use a ES Advantage card. We're saying utilize all the tools at your disposal so that you can make the best decisions with the most information available.
Right, and the importance of knowing your numbers, knowing what you need to make it, to pay the house bills, to pay the truck note. That's key.
Right.
And I've always done that. Like with my Peterbilt, my number was $1.61 a mile.
Right.
My payment was high on the truck. I was trying to pay it off in 2 years. Didn't work out.
Yeah. It
So,
happens. But I bet you learned a bunch about it.
I mean, exactly. Life happens, and things. You get to throw in the curveball, but you can't stop.
Oh, I know all about curveballs. This past year for me in medical stuff, I mean, it literally almost. Jeff and I were having these weird conversations where I was like, I don't know if I can truck anymore, right? And I managed to make it through, even with this brand new truck that I leased, and I swore for years I would never get a brand new truck. You can't give me a brand new truck, especially with an automatic in it. I'd sell that thing the minute you gave it to me free and clear. I'd sell it and buy 10 trucks like I already had. I have a 07 Century that's sitting in my backyard right now with 1.7 million miles on it. And that truck was literally beating me to death. It almost ended my career. And it wasn't that the truck is junk. It's just that I'm getting old, and I've got a bunch of Army injuries that are, being aggravated by, the old suspension systems and things like that. And when I got in this automatic, I was like, man, this is a Cadillac.
And that's one thing I realized with that Peterbilt is that, I was sacrificing not going home and staying out on the spot market and fighting with brokers and trying to save this truck. And in the long run, once I turned the truck in, the weight that came off of me was, I can't tell you the weight that came off of my shoulders when I turned the truck in and I realized I'm out of that.
Right.
I don't have to worry about the next breakdown.
Right.
On this truck that's got 686,000 miles on it.
Right. And I was, like I said, I was at 1.7 million. I did an in-frame. I replaced the tranny. I mean, I had amazing luck with that truck. Not necessarily luck. I stayed up on my maintenance. I took care of the truck. I looked after it like you should. It's a tool for your business, right? You know what I mean? You got to take care of the tool, and your business will do well. I mean, sure, there's those times when, look, there's guys that get lemons and it just happens, and then we try to figure out how to make that better, but like you said, the day it was July 7th of last year, I got into this Freightliner and I drove it from Greer Bobtail all the way back down to Florida. And immediately I got a ticket 10 miles from the terminal for speeding. Well, I didn't get a ticket. I got stopped and I got a warning. Because I was so used to knowing what gear I was in on my shifter, because my Century was a 13 speed. I could hear the engine and know what my speed was, right? And knowing what gear I was in. I could tell you exactly within a mile per hour what my speed was, just based on the sound and what gear I was in. And I got in this brand new Freightliner and not 10 miles down the road got pulled over for speeding, like legit. I mean, it was legit. I was absolutely breaking the law. And I was like 37 in a 25 or something like that, right?
And he was on the phone with me.
Yeah. And I got pulled over, and the guy's like, "Hey, man, going a little fast." And I was like, "Dude, look, you're right. I'm not arguing. You are 100% right." I said, "I literally just picked this truck up. I've been driving a 13 speed, an old beat up truck, old ugly truck, right? And I just the sound wasn't right. I didn't know what gear I was in because it's an automatic or an auto shift rather. And I was like just dumbfounded by my stupidity because I never bothered to actually look at the speedometer because it's been so long since I actually did that, right? And luckily I got lucky because the guy used to be a truck driver and actually had the same thing happen to him. He swapped from a manual to an automatic and got pulled over and got a ticket for the very same thing. He knew my story to the T. He's like, "Ha, sucker." He's like, "I did the same thing, man."
This is the second automatic I've ever sat behind the wheel of. It's a 2021 Volvo, the loaner truck.
Right.
It's a sweet truck. It's growing on me, but I don't like the bunk.
Right. I keep reaching for a stick, and here I am, 7 months, 8 months into this thing. I keep trying to find my stick. It's weird.
I'm still doing it. Still reaching out. Still shoving my foot to the floor, the left foot.
Yep. I go to disengage my cruise control to tap the clutch. It ain't there. I'm just tapping in the wind, and the wife laughs at me because I'll reach over to lean on my stick, because I like to lean over a little bit sometimes, and I damn near fall out of the chair, and she just laughs at me. It's hilarious.
If I could switch gears there just for a second.
Sure, absolutely. Sorry.
The other gentleman you got on there, he was talking on a video that I just recently started going through your videos.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about how he got towed for, like $80 out of his pocket.
Jeff, yeah. Jeff, tell that story.
Okay, so here's how that went down. It was actually a $900 tow. And because of some other stuff, I contacted Brett Stewart, who's the vice president of the division. I said, "Hey, this is going on. I'm a little concerned. I'm not sure what's going on." Actually, I'll tell you exactly what it was that I have a 2016 Freightliner with 85,000 miles on it, and was told that the Swift shop in Reno would not work on my truck because it was too old. So I raised that concern with the vice president, and they went back and listened to the phone call between me and On-Road, and On-Road misspoke. They actually told me that I was only on the hook for 10% of that tow because I had a company trailer on. That's what the man said. And so that's what I paid, was that $90.
Right.
So that saved me $990 right there because Swift tax 10% on any road call.
Right.
Automatically. So that's their service fee for setting up the call.
It was not a thing that was supposed to happen, but they did honor what the guy said on the phone, which was his unfortunate mistake, and Jeff definitely made out on the end of that one for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the messages I got from Brett was that there was going to be some retraining involved.
Right.
And Charley and I were talking about that. I'm like, I guess if we were completely and totally like saints, I would say, "Oh no, Brett, don't worry about it. I owe $900. That's what it is. Just don't worry about it." But hell, man, if that saves me some money, I'm not a fool. Yeah.
We're running a business, man.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Tennessee, you said something that concerns Charley and I a little bit, and Charley probably knows where I'm going. You said, and I quote, "I'm not all that concerned about the camera."
Right.
And since you're new at Swift, I want to address that with you just for a second, so you have a little more information. That camera could cost you your contract, literally. That camera
with little to no warning.
With little to no warning. As contractors, they cannot legally quote coach us unquote. So we came up with this term within our group called Coaching Not Coaching, because that's what they're doing with this thing. They can't quote coach you, but what they're doing is they're using the algorithms in the software in the camera to look for driving patterns. And
A
if they
history of
see,
behavior, unsafe behavior.
and so if they see that you have a pattern that they consider to be unsafe driving behavior, you may or may not get a warning. We're not sure yet. So just keep that in mind as you're moving forward and deciding what you want to do with that.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm the guy that keeps the following distance, and I'm the guy that gets flipped off because most I've pushed 60, 62 miles an hour.
Nice.
And that's the only way you're going to save fuel is if you're managing your speed, managing your tire pressure, and just let the idiots do what they're going to do. They're going to do it anyway.
But to bust your bubble here, I just want to stress this a little bit more. Is this pattern of unsafe behavior could be on January 1st you had a lane departure warning, right? And then on January 10th some jackass cut in front of you and you didn't hit the brake quick enough that it didn't trigger the system, and so there was a marked hit there that you weren't aware of even happened. Okay. And then on January 15th, they realized that you had a hard braking incident, rightful or not. Sometimes it just happens. And, they didn't talk to you about it. So there was no coaching, right? Because they can't coach you. So they're just going to make note of that hard braking incident without your rebuttal to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on February 1st, they're going to be like, hey, we need to have a talk. We've noticed a pattern of unsafe driving or unsafe behavior. And on this date, this happened, this date, this happened, this date, this happened, completely unassociated. And you're going to need to cure these things, remedy this problem, or your contract could be in jeopardy, or, maybe they have enough and they're just like, oh, by the way, we're terminating your contract. So we're not anti-camera. We're anti our customer having control of that camera.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's the
we
concern.
Absolutely think you should have a camera, and I'm all about 3 camera systems. I want to see everything around me. Right. But the company, your customer that you're contracted to, having that control over that, I think is tough. It was the Big Junction one, Jeff. Sorry. And sorry, that was a side question. That them having that kind of control, and mind you, this is an insurance requirement. The insurance is the one pushing the camera systems. They can simply say, oh, well, we didn't like all of these things, so we're not going to insure them anymore. If they can't insure you, you're no longer covered. So now you're on safety hold. And now you need to jump out of your backside to have insurance, because by contract, you have to be covered by insurance at all times, right? And what if your insurance lapses for 3 days while you're getting a new insurance coverage? Isn't that a terminatable offense?
Terminate the contract.
Right. So I mean, and it's not that we're doom and gloom, but we have seen a lot of decent contractors. And I've seen some of these videos firsthand from, guys being coached that were not, truly within their control. They were a millisecond off from the timer that they say you should, hit the brake and apply some slowing down and separation, right? And, not everybody's instincts or reaction time is equal, and those of us as we get older tend to slow down that reaction time a little bit, right? I still got a pretty quick reaction time, I think, but as time goes by, we get worse and worse, and those things are going to be used ultimately to deny you and your business, furthering your business with your customer, Swift. So just really, really look deep and hard, man, and make sure that you really want to put yourself in that kind of jeopardy if you don't have to.
Yeah, especially when there's other options.
Right. Well, being new to Swift, it's the options that you don't know about
Right.
that can bite you in the teeth.
And we're trying to change some of that, the lack of information out there. We're working on a bunch of stuff to help people be aware of these things before they even get that contract signed. I mean, you'd be amazed at the amount of people who don't know that, you can't pay your truck off early unless IEL says it's okay. Yet it's big black and white letters.
That kind of burnt my biscuits, because I was listening to Coach, Young
Right.
Truckers Coach. I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah.
But I was listening to him. He's a great guy. He's an awesome fella. But and he found out that wasn't the case. You can't pay the truck off early, and then
Well,
Right.
to be fair, what it actually says is it's at the discretion of the lessor. So it's not a hard no,
and that's
but it's not a given either.
And
I read that
Jason,
contract 4 times.
right. And Jason actually, said, look, man, I didn't pay close enough attention, and I took someone else's word on these things, and those things transpired. You know what I mean? It's not full stepping up and saying, hey, my bad, right? Typically when Jeff and I screw up, we will be like, holy crap, we did something, we said something wrong, and we will immediately make the correction, say, put the blame where it is. I didn't read that part of the contract, whatever it is, right? Us as business owners, each of us need to be able to step up and be, put on our big boy pants or big girl pants or whatever the hell kind of pants you wear. Or if you want to wear a dress, so be it. I don't care. Anyhow, and take ownership and responsibility for the things that you say to people and the things that you do, right? And I mean, there's been an ongoing thing between one of Jason's other people. Look, see how I did that? I didn't mention a name because I'm not trying to get all into that crap this week. But that's adamant that the contract states, oh, you can't pay it off early. There's nothing in the contract that says you can't pay it off early. Yet Section 18 in your equipment lease absolutely states that you can only pay it off early at the lessor's discretion. So you can go in there and maybe negotiate it. I can tell you that with the market prices being as high as they are on the used truck market, there's no benefit to them in letting you pay it off early. Right?
No.
So, I mean, so you look at it from that standpoint, it's just business. My truck right now, the value, well, 3 weeks ago when we looked at it, I only owed $192,000 on it, going by the stipulated loss value in the contract. And when they ran it through the market, with 80,000 miles on it, it was valued at 195 to 205. So the market's great right now for that. And I would not expect them to sell it to me at 192 when they could get, 205. I mean, that's just business, right?
Right.
But this year you can bet your panties that these prices are dropping. I mean, over the last 12 months, the used truck market has dropped 20%. The really smart analyst people out there are saying that, they're expecting even more of a drop this year, possibly as much or more, sometime by the fall. So now my $205,000 truck is $160,000. Right.
It's like my Peterbilt. I owed 58 on it when I turned it in.
Right.
And I owed 58K, and I found the same exact truck for sale. But it wasn't an automatic. It was a 13-speed, which floated my boat, boy.
Right.
$21,000.
Right.
$21,000.
And I'm sure.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what led to the financing issues and not being able to get it financed because of those numbers. It's upside down as far as they're concerned.
Right, and that's what I told my wife. I said, that right here is why I could not get this truck refinanced.
Right.
Is because the numbers from the trucks dropped.
Right.
And I owed too much on it. And they're saying that it had too many miles on it, or it was too old.
Right.
Maybe that was it. Maybe.
No, and that's like a legitimate thing that, a lot of guys aren't looking at. I mean, let's be real. There's an awful lot of people out there who don't read the contract. I mean, the ICOA, the Independent Contractors Operating Agreement, the second lease that you sign, after the equipment lease, right, is 46 pages. And I don't know a lot of people that have read that entire contract. I can tell you, Jeff and I have read every damn word in that thing over and over and over again. But even still, I find myself having to go back to read it again so I can answer some of these questions, so I answer the right question, right? I mean, it's a lot of information to
Right.
try and keep in your head, and this little squirrel that I got up here ain't there.
All that. Yeah, people ask us something. I'm like, I know I saw that somewhere in there.
And we're pretty good about finding the correct answer, But then I come out and I say, well, this YouTuber here said this, and I get lambasted because I put out, no, it is there. It does say this. It specifically says this thing. And, people are like, well, they didn't say so. Well, it's like with the financing of the balloon payment. If you could show me anywhere in the contract where it says that they will do that, by all means, let's go fight for it. But I promise you, it's not in that contract that they will even entertain that.
It absolutely is not in there.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, even like in my case, they did finance my balloon payment a few years ago, but it came down to but it's not in the contract. It was a handshake type of thing.
Right.
We all just thought that's what they did, right? Well, years ago they did. And when I went in for my end of lease conversation with them, I said, I want to buy this truck out and I need you to finance it. And they're like, well, what makes you think we do that? I'm like, well, that's been a thing since I started in 2007, hasn't it? And they were like, oh yeah, right. This is your third truck and this and that.
Right.
But it was about, for me, it was a couple of days of negotiating with them on that and saying, look, man,
yeah.
And
right.
And when we talk to people in the division, they're like, man, we haven't done that in like 2 years. And I'm like, wow, that's when I bought my truck out.
And then there was a rebuttal video put out as proof, about this stuff and how, one contractor was allowed to pay off his truck early. Well, then we actually found out that what he was paying off early was a balloon payment that he had negotiated with them when they were still making those types of negotiations. So he was paying off the balloon payment and paid that off early. And they're like, by all means, do it, right? But, certain individuals said, oh, well, here's proof you can pay it off early. And, the VP said so. Well, it's different.
So Krista Trucker has a good question. Is there a reason the MRP can't be paid off? And we actually do have an answer. Go, Charlie.
Yeah, it has to do with the market conditions. When the MRP program first started, Chris, the buyouts were between $11,000 and $15,000 with low weekly payments, and a ton of people came into Swift when they saw that and came to IEL and said, "Hey, I want to get one of those trucks," and they snatched them up on a lease term real quick, right? And the total buyout from day one was so low, going by what the current market was, while the market was on that crazy jump going sky high, they were snatching these trucks up, paying them off cash right there, and then taking them out to auction, having never pulled a Swift load, putting them in auction and doubling their money. And Swift's like, or IL's like, wait, hold on a second. We done screwed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, I mean, if they're going to lease you a piece of equipment, they want to make their money on the equipment, and they want to make money off of you pulling freight. I mean, that's why they're ultimately trying to get you to run for them, right? They're going to make money off of all those revenue streams, and allowing you to come in and take that truck, which may be, way under market value. What does that do for them? Nothing. It costs them money, if anything, because they could have just sold it.
Yep.
So that's why they've gone back to really stressing that, look, and it's not a hard no. It really truly depends on what the market is doing. If your truck if your truck on the open market, the value is lower than whatever, then they may entertain that early payoff by all means. And they say it's on a case-by-case basis, contact us and let's talk about it. Right now it's pretty much a hard no on most of the trucks because the market is still upside down.
Yep.
I mean, that's
I
just real.
I would early pay off. But the only thing I would be interested in is the balloon at the end.
Right. And that would be nice. Don't get me wrong. But so what Jeff and I tell people is calculate that balloon into your weekly nut now, right? And start spreading that out so that if it's $450 a week or whatever, and I know that's kind of a high number to set aside right now. Let's just be real with the freight volumes and miles being what they are. But hell, if you set aside half that, right, you get to the balloon payment at the end. Well, you've already got half that money set aside, right? You could probably go to a bank then and say, hey, look, my balloon payment is $86,000 in my case with this brand new 23, and I've got 50 grand in the bank. I need to finance 36. What say you? I'm going to drop the 50 on it and call it good. And chances are they're going to be like, okay, well, the market says it's worth 75. You're only financing 36. Sure, we'll take that deal at whatever interest rate is at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can make it
and
so
that's
it's
the
not
game
upside
plan
down.
that I'm going for. That's the game plan I'm going for. Is I
Right.
want put some money away each week toward that balloon payment. If it works out, it works out, and maybe I can find somebody that will finance it for me and whatever.
Right.
That would be cool. But I'm not going to just throw it out the left window and not worry about it.
Right. No doubt.
Definitely
For
going to
real.
start.
And Chris the
But
trucker. Sorry, Tennessee. Go ahead, buddy.
When I got my first settlement from Swift, wow, that's chaotic.
Yeah, it's hard to understand at first for people that come into this and don't understand Swift's crazy coding and numbers and things like that. It is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no help.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that and I thought, what in the world is that? And I'm still working through it, trying to figure out who's on first, what's on second,
right,
if you will. But
yeah.
I'll get it.
Well, if you need any help, by all means, feel free to reach out to us. I don't know if you're in the private Facebook group or not right now. If you're not, and you're not a Facebook guy, I would recommend doing it just for that.
Well, I recently joined the group.
Cool.
One of you guys put me in there, but I appreciate you guys talking with me. Good stuff. The videos are awesome. I'm going to continue running through them on my downtime, but I'm gonna go on down the highway.
Well, if you need anything, like I said, reach out to us. You can PM Jeff or myself, or even just ask your question. If you got a question, chances are there's 10 other people that have that question and don't want to ask that question. I don't know why, but people are afraid to ask questions. And don't take offense if we say, well, what does your contract say? Right? Because we're not being jerks. We're just being real.
Well, there's another person I was speaking to about this ES card,
right.
And they're keeping it like it's the golden egg. We're trying it out, and we'll let you know how it works.
Okay.
Well, I'm not looking for the Great Tower of Pisa, or I don't want to crack the code. I'd like to save some money on fuel.
Yeah.
Tell you what, reach out to me in the Facebook group. I will give you the link that we hand out to everybody. I put it up in the group or in the video earlier, but I will definitely put it up. It's also up in the notifications or what's that top section called? I can't remember what it's called. Anyhow, reach out to me in Facebook and I will put up the link there. That way you can sign up for the card and you get to keep, I think right now it's $85 as a referral bonus. Because there's doing some deal where the referring person would get 50 and then the card getter gets 35. And if you sign up through our link, you get both of those put on your card the first time you use the cards.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
If you give us a point to point, like from say Atlanta to Houston or something, we'll get on the app and we'll tell you what the fuel price savings is on that route.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to keep secrets. That's the last thing we're trying to do, So yeah, by all means, reach out to us there. Like I said, whenever you need to, or like I said, PM us if you want to do it that way. Reach out to me there. I'll give you my cell phone number. You can text and call me whenever. Honest to God, that's just how we do it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, brother. Be safe.
Thanks.
And
bye.
Krista Tucker. I wanted to address that. Is that also the reason MRP can't do trip lease? That's not an accurate statement. An MRP truck can go out on a trip lease, so you absolutely can do that. Nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah, you're gonna want to talk to Becky Campbell at Rapid Response about that.
Right. There is
And
some special
There's some things
stuff
that you
they
have to
gotta
do different because of that MRP warranty per mile thing. That you gotta make sure you're still paying into that to just keep that warranty. So
Right. And they have a different way of calculating because right now what they do is they calculate it based on your loaded and empty dispatch miles, not the actual hub miles. So basically, what they're going to do is they're going to figure out a way to calculate your hub miles and run the MRP warranty program part of it off of that so that you know what's going on. And hey, my beautiful wife is home. Come say hi. Come on, poke your head in here. Nobody's seen your shiny face for a while. There she is.
hey, Rosie.
Just got home. But yeah, so by all means, any of you who are interested in the ES card that don't know about it, by all means, reach out to us. We'll talk about it. It's not a big secret. I mean, there's a lot of ways to save money, and it's not always the best price. It's not.
No, it's not.
We've never said that ever. A lot of times it is, but not always. So, hey, if you guys have any other questions, throw them up. We're gonna make this the last call. Otherwise, we may just wrap this thing up. We're a little over 2 hours now, and I'm hungry. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't eat today. I need something to eat.
So I'm doing this from my living room,
Right.
which is attached to my dining room,
Right.
and my family just ate dinner in front of me.
Oh,
They were not waiting for Dad.
Yeah, I'm locked in a cave back here in the back end of my house. I don't see any of that stuff going on, which is good because I would be tortured. I'd be like, no, I'm out of here. 15 minutes, guys. Oh.
But hey, I finally get to get back to work tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So, geez, I mean, Christmas has been a tough 2 weeks.
And I think I'm going to start heading out towards the west side of the country here. I think, what do we got? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'll probably start heading out in 2 weeks. I'll probably do another 2 weeks at Target and then start heading that way. And gonna lock it in. Like we said, April 5th, you guys. April 5th is the date of our conference in Vegas. I will go back and put the link in the description of this video after the video is ended. Excuse me. And so you can reserve your one of 40 spots. We only have room for 40 people because it's an expensive place to rent a room in Vegas. Just saying. It's going to be at the Golden Nugget in one of their meeting rooms there. And we've got Sue Smith coming out to talk. We've got Dana Nelson coming out to talk. We've got Alan Becker's going to do some workshop stuff as far as doing some basic maintenance. And he's going to be giving away $300 worth of brake tools and some other stuff at the end of his demonstration on how to do stuff. So by all means, come check us out. It's a PayPal link. I apologize. It's the only way we could get it set up. But other than that, yeah, thank you guys once again for coming out. We seriously do appreciate you guys spending your time with us. We know there's other things you could be doing, and we are humbled by you hanging out with us. Seriously, it means a great deal to us. Jeff, you got anything you want to throw out there?
I have one thing, and this is a selfish thing.
Do it.
During the show, I got a text from my oldest son, and he has a girlfriend now.
Woo! That's awesome.
So it's a good day for us.
Look, my son, I recently found out of a girlfriend that we didn't know about for apparently years. It's crazy. And she's moving to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just got on a plane today. She's going back up to Ohio to tie up some loose ends there, and she's moving to Florida.
Nice.
I'm
well,
like, wow.
And you know, you've talked to Mike. You know how he is.
Right? Yeah.
He's one of those brainiacs.
Right.
So not so great at
people,
interpersonal people things. So
right.
this is a big step for him. So I just want to put that out there.
No doubt, I dig it. Good, congrats to him. I'm digging it. All right, you guys. We are going to be live here back in Tuesday. Yeah, I just saw that message from. Yeah. Anyhow, we'll be back here on Tuesday, like we are every week, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And you guys be safe. Take care of each other. No one's out here looking after us but us. So, yeah, let's do that. You guys, that's Jeff. Ooh,
We got it
I'm
right
Charlie.
the first time.
This is Contractor's Corner. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you again next week, Tuesday.